Charlie Sheen was once the king of Hollywood, a beloved star known for his hit TV shows, outrageous charm, and seemingly endless fortune. But just a few years ago, everything came crashing down in a way no one could have predicted. From winning the war with his infamous catchphrase, to losing it all in a spiral of scandal, controversy, and addiction, Charlie Sheen's downfall shocked the world. How did someone who appeared to have it all throw it all away so quickly? Was it a series of bad choices, or was there something deeper at play that led to this fall from grace? Stick around as we unravel the truth behind how Charlie Sheen went from Hollywood royalty to an infamous tabloid headline. The story you're about to hear is filled with drama, shocking twists, and a painful downfall that nobody saw coming. Charlie Sheen's rise to fame seemed unstoppable. As one of Hollywood's highest-paid actors, he was the face of hit shows like 2.5 Men, adored by fans, and a tabloid favorite. But behind the bright lights and glamorous lifestyle was a man battling personal demons. The public's perception of Sheen as a carefree, wild celebrity quickly turned into one of the most shocking downfalls in entertainment history. From public meltdowns to explosive controversies, his life spiraled in ways that many couldn't have imagined. What started as a joke, his famous winning mantra, soon became a symbol of his unraveling. But what led to this? Was it the pressure of fame, addiction, or something more insidious? In this video, we'll delve into the untold story of Charlie Sheen's dramatic fall from grace, exploring the scandals, the betrayals, and the shocking choices that led him to lose it all. Prepare to uncover the mystery of how a Hollywood star, adored by millions, went from the heights of fame to the depths of scandal. Charlie Sheen's story begins in the heart of Hollywood, a world where fame is both a gift and a curse. Born into a family of actors, he seemed destined for stardom. His father, Martin Sheen, was already a household name, and his brother, Emilio Estevez, was carving out his own career in the industry. Charlie, however, was determined to forge his own path, and by the late 1980s, he was quickly making a name for himself. Films like Platoon and Wall Street showcased his talent, propelling him to leading man status. But with fame came a lifestyle that was anything but ordinary: late nights, parties, and excess in every form. His wild, carefree attitude became part of his allure, and soon, Charlie Sheen was one of Hollywood's hottest stars. But behind the glitz and glamour, cracks were beginning to show. As his career soared, so did his personal struggles. Sheen's life off-screen was chaotic. Rumors of drug abuse, reckless behavior, and failed relationships began to surface. Despite multiple public scandals, his star power seemed immune to damage. Then came 2.5 Men. The show was a juggernaut, and Sheen was at the top of his game, earning millions per episode. But beneath the surface, the pressures of fame, personal battles, and an unrelenting lifestyle began to take a toll. Sheen, once the epitome of Hollywood success, was about to find himself caught in a downward spiral that would leave the world stunned. As 2.5 Men skyrocketed in popularity, so did Charlie Sheen's lifestyle. But what the public didn't see was the turmoil behind the scenes. In the early 2010s, Sheen was raking in $1.8 million per episode, making him one of the highest-paid actors on TV. To the outside world, everything seemed perfect, but the cracks in his persona were widening. The wild parties, the reckless behavior, and the constant rumors of substance abuse were growing harder to ignore. The first signs of trouble came in 2011 when Sheen made headlines for a bizarre series of interviews. He infamously coined the phrase "winning," as if mocking the very notion of losing. But behind his defiant proclamations, there was a man unraveling. In one infamous interview with Good Morning America, Sheen's erratic behavior left viewers stunned. He claimed to be tiger blood and Adonis DNA, a statement that seemed more like delusion than confidence. The world watched in disbelief as Sheen's behavior grew increasingly erratic. His public outbursts, including a bitter feud with 2.5 Men creator Chuck Lorre, sent shockwaves through Hollywood. But what most people didn't know was that Sheen's personal life was as chaotic as his public persona. Behind closed doors, his struggles with addiction had escalated to dangerous levels. Sheen had a history of substance abuse, but it wasn't just the drugs that were causing his downfall. There were darker elements at play. Sheen's relationships were crumbling too. His marriages were marked by scandals and allegations of abuse. Despite his wild antics, He managed to stay in the spotlight, but the toll was becoming undeniable. His firing from 2.5 Men was just the beginning. This wasn't just a career collapse. It was a complete unraveling of a man who had once been at the top. What led to the downfall? Was it the pressures of fame, or was there a deeper, more sinister force at work? The true breaking point came in March 2011, when Charlie Sheen was fired from 2.5 Men, the show that had made him a household name and kept him at the top of Hollywood's A-list. It wasn't just a professional setback. It was the culmination of years of reckless behavior, a series of public meltdowns, and a complete breakdown of his relationships with the people who once supported him. In the wake of his firing, Sheen's erratic behavior only intensified. He embarked on a notorious My Violent Torpedo of Truth tour, a roadshow that only further fueled the public's fascination with his unraveling. The tour was a disaster. Audiences who had paid hundreds of dollars to see Sheen perform were met with confusion and disappointment as he slurred through his performance, making strange and nonsensical statements. His tour was a reflection of the mental and emotional collapse that had been playing out behind the scenes. But the most shocking part of it all wasn't just the spectacle. It was what came next. Sheen's now infamous tiger blood comments were more than just odd catchphrases. They were a glimpse into a man who had completely lost touch with reality. It wasn't just a drug problem or a wild party lifestyle. It seemed as though Sheen had deluded himself into believing that his erratic behavior was not only justified, but was a sign of some sort of higher power or divine superiority. In the midst of all this chaos, Sheen's personal life began to spiral even further. His marriage to Brooke Mueller was already rocky, but the relationship hit its breaking point as allegations of abuse, drug use, and violent outbursts started to surface. The media followed Sheen's every move, documenting his chaotic life as if it were some sort of macabre reality show. The man who had once been adored as a leading Hollywood star was now a cautionary tale, consumed by his own demons. And yet, despite the wreckage of his career and personal life, Sheen continued to insist that he was winning. But it was clear to everyone watching, the price of his supposed victory was far greater than anyone could have imagined. Charlie Sheen's life after the chaos seemed to settle into a new, albeit quieter phase. His career never fully recovered from the implosion that began in 2011. He did land smaller roles and took part in a few reality projects, but the fame, fortune, and respect he once commanded were lost forever. His public persona, once one of Hollywood's biggest stars, became a cautionary tale about the dangers of fame, addiction, and self-destruction. Despite all the damage, Sheen has remained defiant, occasionally hinting that he's found peace with himself. Yet, the question lingers. Could he have turned his life around, if not for the unchecked forces that pushed him over the edge? Or was the crash inevitable, a consequence of a life built on excess and denial? Charlie Sheen's story is far from over, but the lessons from his rise and fall remain. It's a stark reminder that no matter how high you climb, the fall can be just as dramatic. The question we're left with: what truly makes someone win? Because sometimes winning everything can leave you with nothing.